Hey everyone, welcome to the show. So, another one of Donald Trump's pardoned criminals has been arrested. He has now been charged with new crimes. Before I share all these details, though, please do me a big favor. Please hit the subscribe button below this video. It is free for you. It's a huge, huge help to the show. So, I really appreciate it. As always, huge shout out as well. And a thank you to everyone who helps to keep the show going with donations. So here is the deal. And this is a January 6er you're definitely going to remember. 33-year-old Virginia resident Zachary Alam is the January 6th convict who was seen on video. He was getting in the faces of officers. He was screaming at them. He was threatening them. He said, I'm going to, quote unquote, fuck you up. And he was punching the glass insets on the doors. So you might recall he was standing outside of the speaker's lobby, and there were like two or three officers with their backs to the doors, and the lawmakers were just leaving. They were just being scurried out of the House chamber to get them to safety. And so the people, the Trump's mob on the other side of the door could see them leaving, and they were freaking out because they wanted to get to them. So Zachary Alam was captured on video. This was recorded by John Sullivan, who I've had on the show before. They were recorded, or all of them, but Alam in particular was recorded punching the glass next to the officers' heads, like in their faces, screaming, punching next to them in a threatening manner, as if he was going to punch them. And then after he shattered the glass, he was turned around, he was yelling, he was trying to incite the mob. And then he was seen on video repeatedly kicking the doors. The officers at that point had moved out of the way. He starts kicking the doors. Then someone in the crowd handed Alam a helmet, and he started smashing the glass insets on those doors with the helmet. And then he used it to break the glass out of the doors to make openings so that they could get through them, or so that they could unlock the doors. So he was indirectly responsible for Ashley Babbitt's death. He was indirectly responsible for her being able to climb through one of those openings. And then we all saw, it was also captured on video, how that whole thing ended. And Alam showed consciousness of guilt after January 6th, because when the authorities finally caught up with him in a hotel in a completely different state, one that he does not live in, they found a journal where he had written down a full plan that he was going to dispose of evidence. He was going to get a burner phone, or I think he had already gotten a burner phone. He had planned to flee the country, and he was taking steps to conceal his identity. So Alam was obviously aware he had done something wrong that day. And he already had a very lengthy criminal history. So by the time he was at the Capitol on January 6th, he had already racked up a ton of arrests. According to the government sentencing memo, he had 8 arrests between 2014 and 2019. So over the course of 5 years, 5 or 6 years, he had already been arrested 8 times. And they wrote, quote, "The defendant's criminal history paints the picture of an individual willing to engage in routine theft and property destruction as a means to fuel his penchant for clubs, designer clothes, vehicles, and marijuana and alcohol." This is a guy who's highly educated, according to the sentencing memo, came from a good family, didn't have any trauma. So I don't know what's going on with him. But so he was charged after January 6th. He was charged with almost a dozen crimes. He went to trial in September of 2023, and the jury found him guilty on all counts. And in November of 2024, the judge sentenced Alam to 8 years in prison. And this was a Trump-appointed judge, Dabney Friedrich, who was very weak on most of these cases. She got tougher as time went on. I think she started to see the true picture of what happened that day. But for her, this was one of, if not the longest prison sentences that she handed out. And as you all know, Trump then pardoned everybody. He pardoned Alam. He pardoned all of these January 6 criminals when he took office. So Alam was released. Now, luckily, because of his violence on January 6th and because of his criminal history, Alam was one of the very few January 6ers who was held prior to trial. So by the time he got a pardon from Trump, he had already spent 4 years in prison. Well, he must have been missing his time behind bars. I guess it must have been good for him because he now allegedly participated in a home invasion. This took place on May 9th. He was arrested again because of this. So the police say he entered a home, he went in through the back door. The owners caught him and they confronted him, and basically he took off, but he had stolen items. So he took off with items that he stole from their house. He was luckily arrested, apprehended that same night. They caught him in a nearby neighborhood. He has now been charged with felony residential burglary and misdemeanor vandalism. And, given his history, given his recent pardon, I would imagine it's not going to go too great for him. I would imagine that the judge will give him a pretty serious jail sentence if he's convicted. So, again, this is just an allegation. He has been arrested. He's been charged. It has to go to court. We'll see if he takes a plea deal, if he decides to go the jury route again, go to trial. This guy is very cocky, by the way. I mean, he is one who was saying, oh, yeah, we demand to be pardoned. And I don't want any, I forget how he put it, but he didn't want a basic pardon. He wanted a pardon and he wanted to be compensated. After what he did, violently attacking the Capitol, threatening police officers, indirectly causing the death of a woman with his violence, with his vandalism at the Capitol. I mean, he wants to be compensated. Yeah. These are the people, like I keep saying, these are the people who support Trump. They are lifelong, many of them, lifelong criminals, lengthy criminal histories. They are entitled beyond belief, which is why they refuse to accept that Trump lost in 2020, because they are spoiled, entitled brats. That's all it boils down to, because there is not a shred of evidence, and there never has been, that the election was stolen. So Donald Trump lost fair and square. They couldn't handle it because they're spoiled brats. And here he is again, acting like a spoiled, entitled brat. I don't want to go out and work for a living. I don't want to do what the Republican Party says that they admire, pull yourself up by your bootstraps and get out there and make your own way in the world. No, I'm going to go rob people because I want things and I don't want to have to work for them. But yeah, tell me again about the welfare queens on the left, and how we all just expect handouts and free things. Yeah. I'd rather be a socialist than a thief. So enjoy him. Enjoy Alam, MAGA. He's all yours. All right, guys, I will let you know when I hear more on this case. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Please like, please share, and subscribe to the channel if you have not. Please donate if you can. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.